Hello and welcome back to Jimbo's PC Builds. Today I'm going to do a brief review of the Thermaltake Level 20 MT ARGB. Again, a very long description for a product. Not a big fan of that, but it is what it is. Now this is a case I picked up from Micro Center. I was originally going to use a Lee & Lee case, but with the Lee & Lee case I was going to have to buy 3 RGB fans. The reason I looked at this is because it comes included with 3 already. All 3 are at the front. Just looking at the box, I've got some reservations about airflow through the front because it seems to be blocked off by glass, but let's get it out of the box and have a look. So one of the first things I noticed is that to take the side glass panel off, you need to unscrew 2 thumb screws on the back, like so, and then the panel comes away like an old-fashioned back panel. This really isn't ideal. I've actually taken it off and put it back on again, and I found that the only way I could put it back on was by actually laying the case flat on its side, and then you can lay the glass panel on. Now we've been a glass panel, and once you've done the peel and taken the plastic off, obviously if you need to go back in the case, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare doing so. The front of the case comes with a very thin gap which goes straight through to the fans. There's no dust filtration, or at least not very much dust filtration on there. It looks like there's just a little bit on the gaps, so I don't know how great that's going to be for airflow, but with it being pretty damn closed off, the 3 fans at the front will help because it'll pull a lot through, but it's still not great. There's only 1 fan at the back for outtake, which will lead to a heavy positive airflow, which will be good if you've got a graphics card that has a cooler that will take advantage of that. I however would recommend adding another fan to the top of the case to act as extra outtake. Also at the top of the case there's an extra filter, so if you didn't want to put an extra fan there, you could also use a 240mm rad. I don't think it'd support much more than that, although there is plenty of space at the front for say a 360 rad. I don't think it would do very well with 480, but you could try that out. Also you'll notice at the back there's a gap here, and on the back panel there is a filter, so you could use outtake for there to put say a radiator there, or you could put additional fans on the back. On the base there is a power supply basement with an open gap so you can see details of your power supply. There's also a tray for an SSD to be mounted on there. The front I/O consists of 2 USB 3 ports, basic standard stuff, headphones and a microphone jack, a reset button and a button for the fan controller that we'll get to in a minute, and also a power button. So very basic stuff. So as you can see, I've completed the build in the case now. My conclusions, there were quite a few. To build in generally, it was a pretty decent case. There's good cable management around the back. The fan controller really helps because then you've not got to worry about a lot of the wires from the front panel for the front fans, because they were already wired up to the controller and already in the cable channel, which made life nice and easy. Connecting up the graphics card was easy enough by passing the power through. Same with the 24-pin power, and the same with the 8-pin power. They went through pretty easy. There were plenty of cable tie points to manage keeping the cables nice and tidy. A couple of conclusions. One, there are only 2 SSD mounting points, so unless you start using the 2.5-inch drive bays, which in the cage lower down, and start using adapters, you're pretty limited in terms of the number of SATA devices you can connect up. And obviously you can use End.2 devices to expand on that number, but really you're limited on that. And second, and most important, and this was the absolute nightmare that I had, getting a power supply into the gap. It's very tight. You had literally got to maneuver the power supply around just to get it in, and then to get it lined up and connected to the screw holes on the back, because it's not one of these outside mechanism you connect to the power supply and slide in. It's the traditional way of screwing straight to the case. I had to work really hard to get the screw holes lined up because the fan cage underneath the power supply was hitting the mounts for where the power supply is supposed to rest on, and it would took forever just to literally get the power supply screwed in. It's in, but this is something to be aware of. As I mentioned at the front of the video, the airflow coming through the front, it's pretty restrictive. I set the fan curve to silent, but because of the restricted airflow at the front and because you've got 3 fans belting the air in, the fans are really loud. Normally when I do a conclusion like this, I would have the actual PC running so you can see the RGB goodness running, but it's actually pretty loud, so I didn't do for this conclusion. Alright, so that's my conclusion on the case. I'm going to leave a link in the description below, both for Micro Center where I bought it from and for any other suitable retailers, because I'm aware that you may not have a Micro Center in your area. So don't forget to like the video, please do, the more likes the better, and subscribe. I've only got a few subscriptions right now, so the more subscriptions the merrier. Please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to make sure you're notified of future content, and as always, remember to take care.